We've all learned to run from pain, from discomfort, from parts of ourselves we were never taught how to hold. Sometimes that running looks like staying busy, people-pleasing, scrolling endlessly, or pretending everything is fine. It's not weakness, it's protection. When your nervous system has learned that certain emotions or memories are dangerous, escape becomes a survival reflex. But what once protected you now imprisons you. Avoidance doesn't erase pain, it buries it. And buried pain doesn't stay quiet. It resurfaces in anxiety, depression, numbness, and self-sabotage. The longer you avoid what hurts, the deeper the roots grow. You start reacting not to the present moment, but to all the unprocessed echoes of your past. Healing asks you to do something radical. Stop running. Turn toward the discomfort, not to relive it, but to release it. Because presence is what transforms pain. Not through force, but through compassion, curiosity, and truth. The path to peace doesn't go around the wound. It goes through it. Quick heads up before we get into it. I'm not your therapist, and this isn't therapy. Everything here is for learning and reflection. If you need personal help, definitely talk to a pro. No shame in that. Avoidance is seductive. It gives the illusion of control. When emotions feel too big, too overwhelming, or too dangerous, avoidance steps in like a protector. It whispers, don't look there, don't feel that, just keep moving. And for a while, it works. You stay functional, you stay composed, you don't fall apart. But what feels like safety is often just postponement. Avoidance doesn't make the pain go away, it buries it alive. And what's buried leaks out sideways. You might notice it in your short temper, in the way your chest tightens when you slow down, in the tension that never really leaves your body, or the sadness that shows up uninvited when you're finally alone. Every time you avoid an emotion, your nervous system learns that that emotion is a threat. That sadness will drown you. That anger will destroy you. That grief will never end. So you keep suppressing, distracting, numbing. But this teaches your body that even feeling is unsafe. And that's how anxiety and emotional dysregulation take root. Over time, avoidance becomes a lifestyle. You don't just avoid emotions, you avoid silence, intimacy, vulnerability, truth. You stay busy. You chase perfection. You become a master at holding it together while secretly unraveling inside. That's not a moral failure. That's trauma's design. Protect at all costs. But there's a cost. Avoidance trades healing for coping. You survive, but you never really rest. You never fully exhale. And deep down, a quiet part of you knows this isn't peace. It's just a pause button on the inevitable reckoning. The trap of avoidance is that it creates the very suffering it tries to protect you from. You think you're escaping the pain, but in truth, you're looping inside it. Every emotion pushed down comes back louder. Every wound ignored festers. You don't break free by running faster. You break free by turning around and facing what's been chasing you. Recognizing avoidance takes courage. It means asking hard questions. Why do I always keep myself busy? Why do I panic when I slow down? Why do I feel empty when I'm alone? These aren't questions of weakness. They are the beginning of healing. When you catch yourself avoiding, pause. Not with shame, but with curiosity. What are you afraid to feel? What story are you telling yourself about that emotion? Most of the time, the fear isn't about the feeling itself. It's about not knowing how to survive it. But here's the truth. You can survive it. In fact, you were built to. Your nervous system, when supported, knows how to process and release. Your emotions aren't enemies. They are messengers, and the only way out of their grip is through. And it starts the moment you stop running and start listening. Facing your pain isn't a sign that you've failed or are weak. In fact, it takes immense courage to stop running, stop numbing, and look directly at the discomfort you've been avoiding. It means standing in the fire without turning away, even when every instinct screams to flee. This act of bravery rewrites the story your nervous system has been telling itself about danger and safety. When you confront painful emotions or memories, you're teaching your body and mind something radical. That feeling doesn't have to mean harm. You are showing your nervous system that it can tolerate distress without breaking down. This isn't about forcing yourself to feel more than you can handle. It's about gently expanding your capacity to sit with discomfort and remain present. Courageous presence is an active choice made moment by moment. It means leaning into feelings like grief, anger, or shame with compassion rather than judgment. Instead of labeling emotions as bad or too much, you accept them as part of your human experience. This shift in relationship to your emotions starts rewiring deep neural pathways, creating new associations of safety and trust. Healing sprouts from this soil of courage and acceptance. When your body learns it can feel without danger, the chronic tension and shutdown begin to release. Old trauma doesn't lose its power overnight, but the cracks start to form, cracks through which light and relief can enter. This slow, persistent process builds resilience, strength, and emotional freedom. It's important to understand that facing pain doesn't mean diving recklessly into trauma or suffering alone. True courage also includes knowing when to seek support, whether from trusted friends, therapists, or healing communities. Courage isn't about isolation. It's about showing up with help and holding your pain with others who provide safety and understanding. Every time you meet your pain with presence, you weaken the hold of avoidance and repression. You rewrite the implicit messages that once told your system, feelings are dangerous. Now you're saying, I can feel and I can survive. This new message fosters emotional regulation, reduces anxiety, and restores a sense of empowerment. The process isn't linear or perfect. Some days courage looks like big breakthroughs. Other days it's simply breathing through a wave of discomfort. Both are progress. Both are acts of bravery. This commitment to presence, even in small moments, builds the foundation for lasting healing. So facing your pain isn't a sign of defeat. It's the most profound expression of strength there is. In those moments of truth, you reclaim your power and rewrite your story, from one of survival to one of thriving. Healing doesn't demand you to plunge headfirst into every painful memory or emotion and get lost there. Facing pain isn't about reliving trauma in a way that overwhelms or re-traumatizes you. Instead, it's about cultivating a mindful presence, being with your emotions just enough to notice them without getting swept away. This presence allows you to witness what's happening inside without judgment or resistance. Mindfulness trains your mind to become an observer of your internal experience rather than a captive. You learn to notice thoughts, sensations, and feelings as passing phenomena, like clouds drifting across the sky. This shift helps you break free from the habitual patterns of avoidance or over-identification that keep pain alive. When emotions come and go without the need to control or suppress, they lose their intensity and power over you. But presence alone is not enough. Painful emotions often carry a harsh inner critic, a voice that says you're weak, broken, or unworthy for feeling this way. That's why self-compassion is essential. It's the radical act of treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a dear friend in distress. Instead of beating yourself up for struggling, you acknowledge that suffering is part of being human. Self-compassion soothes the nervous system. It reduces shame and self-blame, two powerful barriers to healing. When you approach yourself gently, your body and mind feel safer to release tension and process pain. This kindness isn't about excusing harmful behaviors or avoiding responsibility. It's about holding your experience with care as you move through it. Together, mindfulness and compassion create a container where healing can unfold naturally. This balance allows emotions to surface and pass without judgment, which reduces the risk of being overwhelmed. It encourages curiosity about your inner world instead of fear or avoidance. Over time, this practice strengthens emotional regulation and resilience. Being mindfully present with yourself also helps you recognize triggers and early signs of distress. You develop the ability to intervene before emotions escalate into anxiety, anger, or shutdown. This proactive awareness gives you more control and choice in how you respond, turning reactive cycles into conscious actions. Healing is not about forcing yourself to feel better on command. It's about cultivating a compassionate witness inside who stays steady through the messiness of growth. This steady presence, paired with kindness, provides the foundation for true transformation. It's in this space that pain can soften, wounds can begin to close, and new patterns of well-being can emerge. Mindful presence combined with self-compassion rewrites your relationship with pain. No longer an enemy to escape, pain becomes a guide, a signal that invites you to listen, learn, and heal. Healing is not a solitary journey. While inner work is deeply personal, the presence of safe, supportive relationships is often what makes facing pain possible. When emotions rise like waves, having someone who listens without judgment or rush, whether a therapist, trusted friend, or mentor, creates a container where vulnerability feels less threatening. This relational safety helps regulate your nervous system, making the rawness of healing more bearable. Support isn't just emotional, it's practical. Routine and structure give your healing process a scaffold to rest on. When chaos and overwhelm threaten to pull you under, predictable daily habits provide a sense of stability. Regular sleep, nourishing meals, movement, and moments of rest anchor you in the present and help calm your body's alarm system. These seemingly small acts become acts of resilience that enable deeper emotional work. Structured practices like journaling offer a safe way to explore your inner world without being consumed by it. Putting feelings into words externalizes the pain, making it more manageable. Breath work and grounding exercises activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the body's rest and digest mode, helping to soothe anxiety and bring you back from emotional overwhelm. Movement, whether gentle yoga or walking, also releases stored tension and reconnects you to your body. Without these supports and structures, the intensity of facing pain can feel unbearable. Many people retreat or dissociate because the experience is too raw or confusing. But with a solid safety net in place, you can tolerate discomfort without shutting down or escaping. Support and structure are not crutches. They are the foundation that enables courageous healing. Additionally, structured support helps you avoid common pitfalls like emotional flooding or avoidance disguised as self-care. It keeps your healing process balanced, challenging enough to grow, but gentle enough to sustain. This balance reduces the risk of burnout or re-traumatization, which can happen when facing pain without adequate containment. Importantly, seeking and accepting support is a sign of strength, not weakness. It requires humility to admit you can't do it all alone, and wisdom to reach out for help. Whether it's professional therapy or a community group, these connections offer guidance, validation, and tools that accelerate your growth. Healing with support also models healthy relational patterns, especially if trauma has impacted your trust in others. Experiencing consistent, compassionate presence rebuilds your capacity to be vulnerable and connect. This relational healing often spills over into your wider life, improving not just how you feel, but how you relate to the world. In essence, support and structure create a safe harbor amid the storm of healing. They provide the stability you need to face pain without being swallowed by it. When pain arises, these anchors remind you that you are not alone and that growth, though messy, is possible. Healing isn't found in escape. It's found in presence. Every time you avoid your pain, you deepen its roots and prolong your suffering. True transformation begins when you muster the courage to stay with your discomfort, to meet it with compassion rather than resistance. This process requires more than willpower. It demands kindness toward yourself and the willingness to seek and accept support. Healing is not a sprint or a tidy fix. It's a slow, often messy journey from mere survival to genuine freedom. It's about standing firm in your truth, even when it feels unbearable. When you stop running and start standing, when you lean into the very pain you once feared, you create space for healing to grow. What once seemed overwhelming begins to soften, and a new sense of peace and strength can finally take root within you.